Good evening and welcome to Be More Super Live on Wednesday, the 13th of November. We're continuing our love for this epic show, Superman and Lois, and what interviews we've had over the past few weeks, and we're saving the best for last. Which we're going to introduce this guest on very, very soon. But Dan, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad. Walked out of my job yesterday, so I'm a man of leisure, and ended up getting really drunk last night. So I've ended up being hungover all day. Ruined my entire time off. It's been brilliant.
What is that song by Lonely Is it Lonely Island? You know, when you threw it to the ground, whatever.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
heard that? Yeah. So it's a bit like that when you left. Did you drop that mic and just knock everything over when you left?
I threw it on the ground. Yeah.
Good man. But you know what? This is exciting. Everyone watching, if you've got questions for the man himself that I'm going to introduce, please comment on this show, and we'll put them to Alex. Oh, I've just introduced him, to the guest. So let's get the guest on. He is, of course, Jordan Kent from Superman and Lois. It's a wonderful Alex Garfin. Alex, welcome to the show again for the third time, my man. Third time.
Oh, yeah. I'm also very honored. You said best for last. I don't even know what to do with this distinction.
Wear it with pride. I'll get you a plaque. You can put it in your office. You look very dapper, my man, and you're in a lovely venue. Last time we spoke, you were in the production offices of Superman and Lois. But this time, I think you're in a more superior place. Tell the audience where exactly you are.
I guess I'm in the production offices for the world. So right now, I'm actually at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. I'm in this delegates lounge, which is gifted by Qatar. All the stuff in here, the UN, by the way, on the inside is like the most incredible art museum you've ever seen, because there are gifts from every single member state, and sometimes they gift entire rooms. So this room was decorated by Qatar, and it was gifted by Qatar. And if you look out here, actually, you get an extremely rare and beautiful look at New York City. So that's actually Long Island City over there, which is Queens, the Queensboro Bridge. It's actually it's a lovely venue, a lovely venue.
Do you know what? I could just hear then Alicia Keys singing.
I tell you what, all I heard, Bryan, was normally in this sort of situation, I'd be going, Alex, I know you're somewhere good. Can you steal something? But because it's the UN, I'm kind of like, don't steal anything.
No. And a little known fact, Qatar Airways, is that what it's decorated by? Like it's run by, or is it the country?
It's the country itself gifted the room.
Wow.
Because that's what has to happen, actually. So there was a part here, there's a part of my time here where I was actually trying to get something into the UN, or at least the organization I was working for had to. They were trying to get this piano into the UN, and there was no way to do it. So we ended up having to convince the Netherlands to gift the piano to the UN that ended up not even being used. That sounds about right.
That is crazy, but it's quite iconic that you're in the UN, because that mirrors a scene from the Christopher Reeve movie, Quest for Peace, when he goes to the UN to try and get rid of the nuclear weapons. So you're one step closer to being a Superboy in real life, I've got to say. But let's talk.
I just let the whole thing get to my head. The whole thing's been getting to my head.
Use it while you can, Alex. Use it while you can.
Not much left.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're going to remind us all that it's going to end, and it is going to end on the 2nd of December. And I cannot believe that's a date that's etched into my brain that is going to be the end. Because I've got to say, watching all the episodes, after each episode, I get emotional and I get angry that I know it's going to end, and it's not fair. But the great thing is that we're going to talk about this, because obviously we thought the end of season 3, that was going to be the end of Superman and Lois. So how did that dramatic ending impact you? And how did you set the stage for this final season? I mean, it must have been all up in the air, because of obviously, we didn't know what was going on.
You know what? I think I'm just trapped in a scarcity mindset. Like in my mind, I still have no shot of getting on a television show. I haven't acknowledged the fact that I've even been on it. So by the time season 3 came around and ended, I just said goodbye. I just assumed it's all right. I get to say goodbye to this lovely thing that happened to me. I somehow tricked all of these people into hiring me, and this ridiculous quest on my life is over. We were obviously gifted this season 4,
Mm,
and coming back to it, weirdly enough, I think already having said goodbye to it, I got to view it for the precious thing that it is.
mm,
Uh, it's like anything in life. When you're asking yourself how you're feeling, you're not necessarily feeling in that moment. And when you try to savor something, oftentimes you end up letting it slip by you for that very reason.
mm,
This time, I already savored it, and I just went into it experiencing, and it was lovely. I had a whole year of life because of the strike and because of everything else between
mm,
season 3 and season 4, and I think it came out in the acting as well. Someone once told me the best acting school is just living life. I mean,
mm,
through my adventures here at the UN, to my adventures just going all the way around New York City and around the world, I got to interact with so many characters, and I've had my back up against so many walls that I got to be able to adapt to the room I'm in. And
mm.
you start to understand character better that way too. So that's all a long way of saying that season 4, those 4 months that we were shooting were the 4 happiest months of my life.
Yeah.
I
I
had a
mean,
really
I've got to
beautiful
say, at the end of
balance.
saying goodbye to everyone at the end of season 3, thank goodness you didn't say anything awkward to any cast members that you didn't like. Because imagine going back and going, "Oh yes, we've got to work together again."
Sorry.
What you don't know is I already did.
I tell you what, Alex.
I
Did
gave
you?
everyone a fuck you on the way out. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
classy
yeah, yeah.
thing to
See you
do.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck. Hey guys. Hey, nice to see you all again. I hope you all doing well. Did you ever get pissed off, like to the point where I think we've still got 3 episodes to see in the UK here, and there's a scene where you and Michael decide you're going to fly off to the Greek islands. Are you a bit annoyed that you didn't get to go to the Greek islands and do like a bit of a an OB there?
You know what? I'm still annoyed that I didn't get to go to the ice cave in season 1. Did I ever tell you that story?
No,
Yeah, we
tell
did.
about it.
Okay. Okay, so season 1, September COVID year, right? 2020. Uh, we're still expecting this show to be the biggest thing on the planet. I mean, there's something in the air that you think you're a part of something historic, which we were,
Mhm.
right? But there was a time when the Arrowverse was super healthy, and we were going to be this new chapter. It's going to start a whole new little Arrowverse, is what we were thinking behind the scenes. I can speak a little more freely now that the show's over. So I'm there with my mother, right, who is just so thrilled that this is all happening. Me, who I still can't believe again. I still think I tricked everyone into thinking I'm the guy. I still think that now. And my brother, and we're sitting at the hotel quarantining before we had to start the first day of shooting. And I get a call from the director and my boss, and the call from the director goes to my mom. And what they're talking to my mom for. And I overhear it, and he goes, "Would you be all right if we took your son in a helicopter to the Arctic to go into an ice cave? We want to shoot it for real." I'm jumping up and down in the room like, say yes. My mom is like, "I don't know if it's safe," you know.
Damn, Mom, no.
Okay, this is all to say, all of it to say that we never went. It was supposed to be Tyler and I and the director, and it was something that we were looking forward to for months, and then eventually they realized, wait, we may actually want to go back to the ice cave and use the Fortress of Solitude outside just the pilot. So they actually went for the more expensive route, believe it or not, and used it for green screen, and that way we could go back to it. But I'm still mad about the ice cave. By the time the Greek islands came around, I knew I wasn't going to Greece.
So
Season
anyone
4, we had a budget cut.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to Greece.
which we're going to talk about this because I didn't realize how much of a budget cut it was, because me as an avid viewer, literally I'm loving season 4, absolutely loving it. So in all fairness, I can't see a budget cut, but from the news and the information that I've got, I'm actually quite surprised about it. But we will talk about that in a moment. But with the final, so we've got 3 episodes left. I mean, can you tease anything about what the final is going to be like? Because I've got my theories and I've got from what I think it's going to be like. because we already had the
Let's
teasers
hear them,
that-
Brian. Let's hear the theories. Come on,
I
man.
was
Tell us
about saying,
what you've got
I
in the
like
pocket,
hearing
bro.
what the people come up with.
Well, it's from when I was talking to Dylan, and again, he's very good with his poker face. But I honestly think that Superman is going to become human. I think slowly but surely, with this heart of Dylan's or Sam Lane's, he is going to become human because he's getting the grey hair and everything like that, and it's going to be one of those emotional things that you're going to literally have to grab the tissue because it's going to be emotional. But then he's going to pass the mantle over to his sons, to save humanity. And yeah, I don't think you and Sarah's going to have a romantic happy ending. I think it's going to be sort of best friends, sort of fist bump. Personally, I think it's gone past that time. I think the romance has gone. I think it's more friendship. Because, and to be honest, Alex, you could do better. Indy's lovely girl, but the character of Sarah, I don't know. I think that you could do better. Even though she's lovely, don't get me wrong, she is lovely.
Brian, man,
No.
out the two characters, right? Out the two brothers,
Yeah.
Alex's character seems to be the one that would stay around Smallville and like all that mom's apple pie type of life. You know what I mean? I feel like she's perfect for him. That's kind of how have you not picked that up? What they're throwing down, bro?
No, wait a second. Sarah's hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold all the time. Literally, she's hot and cold. So that's not fair. Jordan was deeply in love with Sarah, and then she just threw him aside like nothing, and then
didn't give him a job.
It's just too much hard work. If Jordan's too busy, saving the world, can he be doing with a woman like that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if any of the viewers want to give their opinion, please do. If I'm right or wrong, but yeah. So any of that remotely close? I mean, would you rate it like hot, cold,
as a
freezing
percentage?
cold? Yeah, Sub-Zero.
I couldn't say, but I do think what you have to say about Sarah is interesting. Especially given that we don't have that much time with Indy this season because of the cast cuts. So we had to kind of still make that resolve in some way over the course of four. What was it? She's in a couple of the episodes. She's in less than half the episodes. Yeah, and you know what? I agree. I think they could both do better. I think they bring out the worst in each other.
Definitely.
There is no time Jordan is more toxic than when Sarah's involved, because then he's a little bit of a puppy dog, you throw him to the side, he'll come right back, but then Sarah takes the puppy dog and kicks it. So neither is a good person for the other person. It's funny because Indy and my off-screen relationship is so funny. It is so unbelievably platonic. I've known this girl 4 years. We've had to make out several times on the show. Completely, unequivocally a platonic friendship. There's never been a hint of a spark. I don't know, maybe that helped along with the character's progression.
That's why Brian's not having this as a relationship. It must be coming across through the screen, Alex. He don't rate it, bro. He don't rate it.
But Dan, I think that is because their platonic relationship was because Indy, when I last interviewed Alex, Indy told me a bit of a secret that when, or it could have been the other way around, that when Indy found out that she was acting opposite Alex and Alex was going to be her love interest, the headshot that she got of Alex was Alex when he was about 12.
Yeah.
So she was a bit freaked out because she looked at this headshot and thought, I'm going to be making out
kissing
with
the child.
Yeah. So maybe that might have been the reason.
By the way, you could still find the original press release, because we were hearing everything from the press releases. We never actually got the information from anything. We had no idea what was going on. So if you look at the original press release that I was announced with Jordan Elsas, you'll see me when I'm 12 years old and she was 19 and she thought, oh my God, what am I about to have to do?
So you got Sarah Sharp there saying amen been saying that about their relationship for a while. Would definitely be okay with maintaining a healthy friendship, though. See,
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
you
the
know
only
what?
one.
I have to say, there's something almost anti-CW though about having it kind of turn into a healthy friendship,
Mm.
like reach a level of maturity. So I would like to see that happen. Whether it happens, I can't say anything. By the way, Dylan Walsh has been probably one of the biggest role models for me throughout these 4 years. I've always was very observant of what he did because he's obviously been doing it a while. But not only that, he keeps it fresh. He's an incredible actor and also a very well respected person. Um, so if Dylan is not telling anything, I'm gonna follow suit.
Talking about Dylan
I'm gonna,
Walsh.
I'm
So
I'm unemployed right now. I need another job. All right.
Same. Same. Me too. I can't.
you can
I
get a job
can't.
at the UN, Dan.
Right.
You can get a job at the
Yeah,
UN.
I've
Right
got a bit
over.
of spare time now. Yeah, I'll be all right.
Well, what
You can
happened with your
present.
job, by the way? Could I ask?
Yeah, I'm. Oh God. Welcome to the show. I'm a big fan of. I can't work somewhere if I don't feel the correct culture fit. And I work in hospitality, and I'm a creative type. Now, the brand I was working for is what they'd call a hard brand, where it's the same everywhere you go across the country. And so when I
Right.
wanted to put content and events on and things like that, it was like trying to turn around an ocean liner. So I just kind of shook hands. I didn't just down tools and Foxtrot Oscar. I literally went, listen, this ain't working. They said, I understand, Dan. Thanks a lot. See you later. So I start a new job in a big show bar in Covent Garden in London on the 6th of January. Come see me.
Do you a show bar?
Yeah, mate. Big show bar,
Show
mate.
bar.
Big show bar. Show
Cool.
bar.
Oh, we'll have
Show
to come
bar.
Dinner
down
and a show.
have a. Hey, Alex is old enough to drink now because Alex, I don't know if you can remember, but I met you last year when you came over to the
Right.
UK with Breck. And
Right.
yeah, so I got you to sign a nice picture and everything.
I
How old
remember.
are you
Yeah.
now? How old are you now?
I'm 21. I turned
There you
21.
go.
So, by the way, the crazy thing about turning 21 is that it didn't really, being 20, you could still pretty much go to bars and stuff, right? I probably shouldn't be admitting this, but you really could. The only difference is that you really don't want a photograph of you at the bar.
Yeah.
So it just kind of gets rid of like this stupid extra layer of nonsense that you have to go through. There's really no difference
So now you're coming
besides
out of
people's
bars now,
judgment.
like smiling, waving your hands, being like a right peacock. Do you know what I mean? Saying, "Look at me, I'm all right now. You can take pictures."
Exactly. Exactly. Now I just wave the beer around.
Oh, we've lost
Oh,
him.
I've lost him.
as he was
probably-
waving. I don't know if that was his phone locking. There we go. We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you only
you
pay
were-
for 30 minutes of internet at the UN? Did they charge you by 30 minutes? Is that what it is?
You know, the international data roaming, all right? It's expensive, all right? And I'm out of a job.
I tell
Bless
you
you.
what, I was going to say, if you can't get good internet at the UN, oh God help us. But no, let's talk about obviously season 4 and the amount of impact it's had so far. So when you first got the script, we don't like losing a cast member, and it was such a shock of Dylan Walsh, Sam Lane, on how he left the show. What was your first thoughts when you read that script, knowing that he was going to go in that, I would call it epic and graceful and respectful way? And I just think it was amazing. If I was going to leave something, it'd be in that way.
Well, it's interesting because we knew that he was only going to be around for 2 of the episodes. I'm pretty sure that was what was known at the time. By the time I got episode 2 and I read it, it made me emotional. He was the first cast member we had to say goodbye to for real. Again, I think I spoke on this before, but he was a really big role model to me during that whole experience. He gave me encouragement in a way that I don't think very many other people did. And that gave me the freedom, at least mentally, to take more risks acting wise, which is really important. So I'm very grateful to him. That day that we were doing the scene where he died, they were going quite late. It was very cold out. And I wasn't working, right? I wasn't in that scene, but I stayed till the end of the day, till around 3 or 4 in the morning. just so I could say goodbye to him with everyone else. In fact, I brought a little ukulele to set. I wrote this little song saying goodbye to him. I could play it for you guys sometime. I don't have one in the
I saw a
UN.
picture of that.
Unfortunately,
and
they don't supply
talked
ukuleles.
to Dylan about. I did talk to Dylan about it because I saw a picture, and it's nice you saying things like that about Dylan because he speaks about you so fondly as well, which I think's really, really nice. Because I suppose when you play family on screen for so long, you sort of develop those relationships and bonds off screen as well, which must be heart-wrenching to actually say goodbye to someone off screen as well. But you know what, Alex, don't go anywhere. Give us 1 minute. We're going to do the sponsor's message, and then we'll be back to talk about some things that the viewers might not even know about some of the episodes, which we'll talk about in a moment. Here we go.
Prop Store's entertainment memorabilia live auctions are a fantastic way for you to own a piece of the movies and television shows you love. With over 1,800 lots in this year's London auction, we're going to start by taking a look at Ridley Scott's Gladiator. Or the 1963 Oscar-winning classic Cleopatra, with the costumes of Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. And for the first time ever, a rare glimpse into the archive of special effects legend Ray Harryhausen, with Ray's hand-drawn artwork, his personal annotated scripts, and most amazingly of all, the models, castings and sculpts actually made by Ray Harryhausen. A remarkable collection of spaghetti western costumes, including these from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And it wouldn't be a prop store auction without Star Wars. This is the famous mind trick helmet used in the Move Along sequence of A New Hope. We also have a Sand Trooper costume from the same movie. Our next London auction is on November the 14th through to the 17th, and the catalogue is available now at propstore.com.
Oh.
So, yes, so that is the Prop Store auction that's going on tomorrow for 3 days. Check it out, propstore.com. Also, if you want 10% off at the Prop Store, website, if you want to...
Tell them the code, Brian. Tell them the code. Tell them the code. Tell them the code. Brian's going to give you a 10% code.
I've got to go to the 10% code.
Are you ready?
10% off.
10%. Tell them the code. It's Brian 10. It's Brian 10.
It's Brian 10. There you go. Brian 10. Brian 10 is the code to get 10% off at propstore.com if you want to get your hands on a screen-used piece of history from your favourite TV show or film. I mean, I've got to say, I've got a great collection of Superman and Lois hats, Alex, which I was given. Yeah, we're there. This is,
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Ready? So I've got.
Oh, no way. Okay. Oh, that's one from 409, no?
No, season 2.
Season 2. That's season 2.
Yeah. Wait a second. Oh, I've just dropped them on the floor. I've got that one there.
Is that one the 409?
No.
309. 309 it was, because Steve Meyer directed it.
I've got the 409 as well, which is similar to that, but it's got the green underbit, and then I've got this here.
The stunt department, no way.
Yeah, and not only that, I've got the jacket as well. You know, the Treyarch jacket.
Wait, you got like the Artax one?
Yeah. And I've got that one as well.
How do you have more? Do you have more stuff than me?
and that is courtesy of Dylan and his wife. So,
that's really sweet.
So talking about stuff, I think that Superman and Lois missed a trick because budget in season 4 was slightly low. What I found out that the Superman house and barn isn't there anymore. That you had to do everything back on the back lot, which I think's amazing to know because you wouldn't tell. And where I think that Superman and Lois production has missed a beat here is that when the Superman house got knocked down, they should have sold it off. They should have sold bits of it off. That would have paid.
There's a story.
For all of season 4 and 5.
Tell us all the stories, Alex. Tell us them all.
I'm gonna have to be polite though about it.
Do it.
It was not. It was not knocked down. I think it was knocked down in part because of budgetary, but it was really knocked down because the owners. That's a real farm, right? And we're in the Delta in Canada, right? Like we're in a very rural part of Vancouver, right? And I think a lot of the farms people they judge each other, and our farm had to grow like corn and just leave it up during the winter. And the owners of the farm, I think, were getting a lot of flack from the neighbors because what you doing with corn up in the middle of the winter?
Oh,
And they signed a contract. I don't think they knew what they were getting into, and the relationship was deteriorating. So season 3 came along, and there's no more house.
Because the neighbours were giving him a load of flack. I love it.
Right.
That is
So
absolutely shocking.
isn't that a revelation? The crew and cast. This show was just such an amazing environment of people, to the point where it became kind of a reputational thing. If you spoke to anyone in Vancouver that was on a set, they heard that Superman and Lois was one of the best sets to work on. So to me, the neighbors knocking down the house because I think the corn, I don't really know what happened. It's just so bizarre considering the crazy stories I've heard of terrible sets from Vancouver. But yeah, that location was also really cold. And we did have to go out there a couple more times because the barn was real. We just built the house. The house was hollow on the inside. And we did go back out to that location a couple times, but it's cold. I mean, the wind is just whipping. It's always frozen over. So we also didn't like shooting there. But yeah, the whole thing was sleight of hand. I mean, even those exterior shots of the house are either old, like because we knew we were losing the house in season 3 and we might have in season 4, or we kind of finagled it that they built a bit of the outside of the house inside in the studio and we could frame it just right. It was complete ridiculous load of crap.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, you would never know. But talking about...
Yep.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, speaking of stealing stuff from, there's actually a funny story here. So I'm going to try to do it without spoilers as much as I can.
Give us the whole thing.
Yeah. I want to keep my job or my lack thereof. I want to get another one day.
It's not stealing anyway. You're borrowing. It's fine.
I'm borrowing indefinitely. They don't need it. Yeah. So one of the last days we had was on the back lot, right? And we wrapped up the diner set because the interior of the diner was real. That was built on the back lot. The back lot was the Smallville row, right? That was the exterior Smallville. And in the diner, I mean, a lot of my scenes were in that diner. They had a bunch of menus. So it was my last day there. And I go, screw it. I'm just going to steal all the menus because they're not going to need anything anymore. I'm going to leave a couple.
All of them.
They had like a pile of menus, and they had all the ones that were still set dressed. Like I wasn't touching those, and they already wrapped that set. Like that set was set to be struck. Like it was set to be knocked down. Why not? So I took the menus, and I go back to the green room to say goodbye to Bitsy for the day. And Bitsy goes, "What you doing with the menus?" And I go, nothing. And she goes, "Did you ask the props guy if you could take the menus?" I go, no. She goes, "He's right here asking." Like it's so Bitsy. Like she was like our mom. Yeah, she was like our mom. And so I asked the props guy if I could take the menus. He said sure. This is all to say that in the 4 years of Superman and Lois, we very rarely got papped, like paparazzi'd. And the picture comes in the next day of me running out of the diner with like 4 menus going like this.
You can't get away with it.
Like completely guilty, red-handed.
How funny is that? And is that the only thing you've actually taken? Because I know Erica Valdez said last week he took the wind chime.
What did he take?
The wind chime.
Why did he take the wind chime? He got the wind chime. I got the menus.
You got the wind chime.
There we go.
Got the wind chimes.
We could do a trade. I'm sure.
I would happily do a trade. But
for anyone
what's up with this?
Wondering, those menus are going to feature on the Alex Garfin's official website very, very soon. Signed and available to buy.
Honestly, I can make a buck. Maybe I could
You
make a
could.
buck doing
I
that.
tell you what, you could. It would be crazy if you knew. I've got an original crystal from the Superman movie behind me, just there or lit up. Oh,
Okay, with that.
Oh, are you too loud? Are you being told off by the UN?
A little
okay.
bit, but I'll keep it down.
So the rest of the show is Alex doing mime. Let's see if we can do the rest with Alex not doing anything except for doing mime. Lex Luthor, what was he like to work with? Oh dear, I feel really bad.
Got told off.
Really
I feel like we're facilitating like some kind of international incident here, Bryan, as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just being irresponsible. No, I just have to like keep it around this level.
Yeah.
I think normal.
I mean, your character over the last seasons have gone through a lot. You know, Jordan's, he's a lost soul, and I so want the best for him because he's got heart of gold. I think he's too hard on himself at times. I think that he's battling a lot of internal things in the way of relationships and his self-worth. I mean, what do you feel is the biggest sort of glory for your character so far?
I think you cut out there for a second. Am I clear when I'm speaking?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. The gist of the question I got was what is the trajectory of Jordan? Is that
what do you think is his shining moment, because he's gone through a lot of stuff?
okay.
Yeah,
I actually think his shining moment comes next episode. I think it's my favorite scene that I've had the pleasure of acting out on the show, written by Jay Jameson, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's episode 9, right? Is the next one, and it showcases just how far he's come on a physical level in that superhero way, but also on this emotional level, and one of the things I think Jordan struggles with is how is he gonna set his own identity apart from his brother, right? Especially now that his brother has powers, right? For a moment there, he defined himself by the powers. Now he doesn't have that, right? And I think he's genuinely happy that his brother does because he can share in the burden of it all.
So is this the conversation where you're talking about being with each other? And it might well, at least we'll have each other, and I think Michael says something
that's a great scene,
a wonderful scene, I thought.
Yeah, I'm coming in with the wings. The wings were cold that day. That was what I remember now. But no, I love that scene as well. There's a scene in episode 9 though, and I think it's because it showcases why what Jordan went through mentally is important for anyone that's in a position of power to be in, to have gone through. Why they need to understand also the part of the psyche that includes the self-doubt, that includes internal strife in a way that his brother may not. I think they're on par physically now, right? And it seems like Jonathan's a lot healthier mentally, but Jordan, I think, has a sensitivity that is special to him, given what he has gone through. So I really appreciate this scene coming up in episode 9. I think it is the defining moment of Jordan Kent, and it's very short, and maybe the fans won't think so, but for me, it was Jordan just as much as the original audition scene was. I remember the original audition scene. I understood who the character was exactly, and in this scene, I came back to that, and what a beautiful way to bookend the character, really.
Can you ever look back at like early Jordan? You know what I mean? Early Jordan Kent in the first couple of episodes, where he's not whiny. He's just a bit. He's a lot less world wise, I think would be the correct term. And to watch the journey that Jordan's gone through over the 4 seasons, he's turned into a very responsible young man. Even his jock brother, who's one of the guys, has all of a sudden started having to realise some things about himself. And the development of those two characters, I think, has been the crux of the show. I think it's been essentially the show. Can you ever look back at those early episodes and does it make you wince a little bit, or are you kind of like, no, I'm glad I played it like that?
I think there's a fair bit of both, right? I think every actor has it's called the conversation on the stairs. You're going back from the audition and you think, I could have done this, I could have done that. I certainly know that if I got the role today, I don't know if I would have been exactly the same. However, I feel proud of the character, quite honestly. You end up having a weird empathy for this person that isn't you, but kind of is. I look back at those earlier episodes, and I see, I just see a less developed version of what he became. And I see a kid going through a lot. And, me in my own life at the time was going through a lot of changes as well. I love who Jordan became. And I think it's because I had to love who he started as. But they are very different. And by the way, when I was a kid and I dreamed of becoming an actor, my dream was never to be Leo DiCaprio. I don't really care about like whatever. I cared about the character. I wanted to be Bryan Cranston. Someone that took a character over time and made him into what he was supposed to be, whether that's good or bad, right? And I was so blessed on this show to probably get one of the more dynamic characters that I got to change over time. Superman is kind of set in this iconized stone and almost Lois Lane in a way, even though they did change, obviously, over the course of the series. But they're also adults, and you crystallize when you get older. Jordan, you see him grow up. And I grew up. Alex, I grew up with those people. I mean, I just did a post today about the crew. That crew wasn't just like my work family. I was there 16-hour days since I just turned 17. Like the day we started, I turned 17. I grew up with those people. I saw them more than my family for the later half of my teenage years. So there's a lot to be said, but I'm most of all just very grateful.
You're making me really emotional because it's sort of like, it's finished for you now, but we haven't witnessed the finish of it. But talking about the cast and crew, the last episode that we had when Clark was saying, his identity to the news crew, a little birdie told me, and I sort of guessed this because I recognised one of the actors, Gregory Smith, who is the director. I want to play something that you can see on the screen now. So this is a scene when Superman goes to tell the film crew, the news report, that he's actually Clark Kent. But let me just pause it there, because the feeling that I got when I watched this was quite an emotional feeling. And I don't know if it's because of the look on the people's faces that made me feel that actually they may not be actors, that they may be part of the crew. And that's what got me emotional, because it actually looked very genuine. So a little birdie told me that the people in the shot in these scenes are actually the cast and the crew from the show.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if I was the birdie. I posted right before I got here about this scene. Yeah, they are. So from left to right, and if I can see everyone correctly, because it's quite small, that would be Sonia from Costumes. I can't see who's peeking over the edge there. I believe that, and then that's Katrina with the white hair. That's Julia. That's Gord, or Julia. I'm sorry, Katrina was head of costumes. Julia was first AD. That's Gord. He was the DP on the even episodes. That's Mark Nolet. He was our key grip, and then that's Aaron. He was our gaffer. It's, you can see it in Tyler's face too.
Yeah, it's this
I don't
scene
know.
here.
I get a little emotional. I mean, these people. for better or worse, the cast didn't get to interact that much when we were not actively acting together. Oh, there's Ocean, Trish. But I got to interact with the crew more than anyone. I on my days off, I would come in. That's Gregory
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, Gregory Smith. Yeah.
He was our producing director. He directed 12 episodes of the show. Another huge role model for me. I shadowed one of his episodes. You know, those were the people I interacted with. Those were the people that saw me grow up. Those are the people that I I got to know their families. And it's tough, you move away after it's done, and you have no business being back in Canada as an American because you can't work there unless you have a work permit from the job. So, I looked at that room and I realized that these people would all not be in the same room ever again. Uh, and it's tough. The best thing about a film set, in my opinion, is that because you're trying to recreate life, you need kind of representatives from different aspects of life. I think that's my theory anyway, that it ends up being reflected. So you have the makeup people, which are very, very different in personality than the electrics people, who are very different than the directors or the cinematographers, who are very different than the grips, who are just there to work, or the construction guys. But what ends up happening is you all had to work as a team, even though you're from drastically different parts of life. And it was like Divergent. Those books. I remember reading them as a kid. It's like all these different departments were like the different houses, and as the actor, you had to navigate all of them. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And that crew itself was a beautiful thing. It was curated to try to be full of nice people. So yeah, I'm so happy we got to shout them out there and put them in front of the camera. A lot of them didn't want to be, so that's why there's only little bits of them. But I mean, there are people. I mean, there are people on that screen that I still call today and update on my life, and I hear their updates. You know, actors that don't. I never understood actors that don't really become family with the crew. I actually never really got that. I feel like you have to be a bit cold, but everyone has their own process, and I really got close with a lot of them.
But that's a nice thing that I hear from all the interviews I've done for this show. Every single person, I've had Jay Jameson on, and he was saying that how amazing all the writers are, and just how amazing the whole place is, which is so refreshing to hear, because you hear so many nightmares of different sets. But let's just go on. If anyone's watching that wants to ask a question, please ask a question, because we've got quite a few watchers, viewers. So if you want to ask Alex a question before we bid farewell, because again, this is the last time I'm going to have you on for Superman and Lois, which is heartbreaking to think. But let's talk about your interactions with the man himself, Michael Cutlitz, because this man is just an incredible actor. He, to act opposite someone like him of his caliber must be like not only such a privilege for yourself, but also sort of a workout from an actor's point of view. Do you know what I mean? Like, to sort of act opposite.
Believe it's the crazy thing is that it could have been intimidating, but it never was. I mean, Dylan Walsh, Craig Smith, and Michael Cutlitz, the three of them. I mean, Michael Cutlitz obviously came in at the end. Were huge role models just for me growing up, right? So whenever Michael Cutlitz was acting opposite me, I would just ask him a million questions. Like and he never got annoyed. I would ask him every acting question I could think of. Uh, I would just attempt to add something to the scene that he could feel like he could work off of, and I had the pleasure of working with him on a multitude of occasions, and it's really an incredible thing. It really is. So cool. It's so cool to be able to work with someone like that.
It's just a great version of Lex as well. It's a great version because
I love how it plays
seen a Lex that's actually gone head to head with Superman. That scene where he's fighting in the street, it was like Monday Night Football. I think someone described it on social media, and it was literally the most animalistic fight I've ever seen in my whole life, and especially with Lex and Clark. And I just love the fact that Clark does show him a few moves. But let me just go to some questions here, which I've got here. Well, it's not a question; it's a statement, Alex, from Garcia Marty. You're an amazing actor, Alex. Our favourite Superboy. Which
that makes me happy.
yeah, forget Jonathan. Yeah,
Screw that guy.
Which one?
You're the favourite. And then Sarah Sharp's put on there with the season set during the summer. Very curious to know if we'll be able to find out if the boys even go back to school now. The secret's out. Oh,
I think school is very far from their minds. I think about
They're in
that sometimes.
Greek islands. They're not going to school. They're in Greece.
Yeah, and then,
I think
and then
about
we've
it
got
like
Lex in his super suit ready to come out the closet.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think Sarah, I think school might be on the back burner. I've got to say. And then
do they sit through math class? Like, I think about it sometimes. Do you think they sit through math class and just go, yeah, this is important. This is that's a giant space alien. I'll get it later. Yeah.
Tell me more about algebra.
Like,
You've got here a
right.
question
The
here
square
that
root
I've
of
got.
x is wait, hold on.
From King RB, if you play any new DC character in James Gunn's new universe, who would you want to be? That's a good question, and this could be part of your journey into the universe of James Gunn. So, you know, what about Green
I
Lantern?
have no idea who I'd want to be from DC.
Wouldn't
Green
you want
Lantern
to
would
just
be
be
really
Jordan?
cool.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that's if I was asked that question, and because like I know that actors go through this thing where they kind of have to mourn the loss of their character a little bit because it's like someone's lost in their life. And if there was an opportunity to bring in the Superboy character or bring in Jordan into Gunn's DC, you'd be pissed off if someone else was playing that character, right?
I look, I wouldn't be pissed because that's the way things go, right? And you sign on for that journey, right? But it would be incredible to be able to play not only Jordan, but I would love to be able to play him older. If we did another one of these after the show's over, there was another plan for there was the 7-season plan for this show, and I wish I got to be older. So that would have been really lovely. In the same way we're speaking about how the character developed over that period of time, it would have been amazing to develop him further.
Yeah.
And then a message here, a question here from Mark Cohen, who's fully enough my brother-in-law. He said, if you had the chance in an alternative universe, would you have liked to have worked with Christopher Reeve?
Oh, for sure. No questions asked. I would like to just be able to sit down and talk to him. The guy had what an incredibly ironic life journey. To go from being Superman to obviously being paralyzed, and what a gracious way to go upon that path. It speaks to his inner character so much based on what he did. And, I'm actually in contact with the Reeve Foundation. I speak to them. It's his journey is not lost on me, especially given his activism work as well, which, it's the other half of my life.
Yeah, he did so much in real life as well. So not only was he Superman on screen, but he was off screen as well. You've got Kal-El Can Fly. I love that name, Kal-El Can Fly. I got to meet Tyler in Metropolis, Illinois. That is one place I'd love to go to every year. They do a convention in the actual Metropolis. Would love to meet you there someday, Alex. Talking about conventions, have you got any planned on going to in the next coming year?
Well, I just spoke to my convention agent. We have a couple tentative dates, but I don't want to announce anything because I don't want people to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. I would love to come to the one in Metropolis, Illinois. And, the way to make that happen is just the fans request it. So if they get a couple requests, they usually invite me out. So I love these conventions. I just like meeting the fans. To me, it's about building a base. It's about meeting the fans. Much more than it is really about the money side of it. So I usually end up going to ones that I just get to meet people and go to parts of the country that people don't normally get to go to, or parts of the world people don't normally get to go to. I'm young enough to have the blessing that I can just do it in part for fun and just meeting people. I love meeting people. I'm a people's person. So come meet me if I'm ever
it's
out.
nice when you can go with people that you're friends with as well. Like the one that you went to when I met you, you was with Breck, and I know she's a close
Right.
friend. And it must be great to be able to travel all these places with your friends, and have this great time.
Oh, totally. And that was at the tail end of a bigger trip that Breck and I did. Uh, so Breck and I started in Venice with our other friend Carling, and then from Venice we went down to Rome. Breck and I split up. Then she went to Paris, I went to Greece. We met back up again in England. It's so much fun, and yeah, Breck is one of my closest friends. The other crazy thing is you make friends on this Comic-Con circuit. The weird thing about being an actor that I don't think is talked about very often is that you're peerless. When you're in school, you have 30 people in your classroom that all went through the same hour that you did, and then out of those 30 people, you can pick one or two that you like. You eliminate a lot of eliminate a lot of the variables that come into obscuring who someone really is. So you really get to know people, and when you're an actor, you're on a very individual journey. Even when you're on a cast, you're playing your part. Uh, and it's not very often that you get to feel like you're in a room of peers going through the same thing. So when I'm at a convention, we're all sitting backstage. I I I get to know people. I get to meet other people that have a similar journey to me. I make friends. There was that convention, not this one, but before that I did in England. We did one in Manchester and then one in Cardiff in Wales.
Yeah, that's the one I went to. Yeah.
And
It's a big one, that one, isn't
right,
it?
it's
Well,
great.
one's Monopoly, and I think the other one is Wales Comic Con. I think, which is no more apparently. It's
Right.
Oh,
stopped.
really?
Well,
Yes, we won't go in there because I don't want to get any letters from solicitors. But there are reasons why that Comic Con isn't happening anymore, because Comic Cons need to look after the guests and the talent like yourself, and it's very rare to find ones that do, because
yeah.
we need more Comic Cons, and I have requested through my contacts to try and get a Superman and Lois reunion convention, so to get everyone together,
We'll host it. We'll host it.
Relay,
I love it.
Tyler, Taylor, you name it, everyone there. It'll be awesome. But it was that Tanny's just put, I'm getting Clark Kent vibes from Alex's
Do you know
look.
what?
Very fitting.
I just realised that. So we've got about a comment here saying I'm getting Clark Kent vibes from Alex's look. Very fitting. If you can go and find somebody in the UN with your contacts now, Alex, and see if you can borrow someone's glasses, that would break the internet. If you just upload it with something like Clark Kent vibes.
You want to know something even crazier? I actually wear glasses.
There
And
you
the
go.
glasses I
There you
wear,
go.
the glasses I wear are the same frames Clark wears in the show. I stopped
Brilliant.
wearing them in part because I kept taking home his prop.
Whatever, you're trying to steal it. I know what you're doing. That's a good trick.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, it's in a box with the menus.
Yeah, yeah. Tanny
You're
just
on to
put,
me.
do it, Alex. But you know what, Alex, you've been absolutely fantastic guest for the third time. You're doing absolutely amazing things on Superman and Lois. You've played the character Jordan for so long. What piece of Jordan will always stay with you? Because it's got to rub off on you in some way, or part of that character is going to stay with you forever. What part is that?
His sense of it's a sense of it's a sense of good. I think it's a sense of good, which gets conflicted sometimes because sometimes he doesn't always follow it, but he does know it's good, and he will always fight for what he feels is fair. And that's something that I hope to keep in my heart for a long time. You want to know something crazy? The first audition I had, I don't know if I've shared the story. It was a scene that was not in the pilot, and he was picking his nails, and he goes to a principal's office, and the principal says, "Why are you acting out in class? Why do you call the teacher a dumbass?" And he goes, "Well, because he was a dumbass." And the principal goes, "What are you talking about?" And he gives him a detention, and then he says, "Well, you might as well just make a vending machine that gives out random punishments because I didn't do anything. The teacher was being a dumbass." And I realized something, though, that I didn't go into the room and played it whiny. In fact, I've had a similar conversation with my principal. Uh, I taught a class, by the way, in high school. It's a crazy story. And I realized he cared that the students were not getting an education. He cared that the other students in the room were being failed, and the teacher's being a fucking dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna be the one, albeit in the worst way possible, to say something about it, even if it means something happens to him. And that's the attitude I went into at the audition. They booked me the role. So that's what I want to keep with me. The kid that's not afraid to call the teacher a dumbass because the teacher's being a dumbass.
That's excellent.
And
the moral compass that Jordan's got. That's the one that sticks with you, and that's a great one to take.
Sometimes your moral compass can lead you through the desert, but you come out the other side always.
Yeah, I like that.
And now we know why he's in the UN, Dan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. He's looking speak like that. Poetic.
Do you know what I mean?
Me and you would tell a good 30-year-old few gags and knock them bandy.
Do you know what? You know what? Alex Garfin for president. I'm just putting it out there. Let's get you, elected, please. But no, thank you so much. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get you back on this show for another great show that you're going to be on very soon. That is my thought of it, is that the fact that, this isn't the end. You've done amazing things on this show. You did amazing things before you started Superman Lois. Yeah, go on.
No, I'm sorry. It didn't work. You said this isn't the end, and I went, it isn't?
It will be in a second. It will, I promise. I promise. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Please hit subscribe, like, and all that jazz. Alex, you've got your own YouTube channel as well for everyone that needs to go over there. So I will be sharing the details of that as well. Have you got any, parting words for the fans of Superman and Lois that are probably, I mean, the only way to compare it, Alex, in the UK, we had a band called Take That. I don't know if you've ever heard of a band called Take That, but when Take That split up, literally the UK government made a helpline for all the fans that were so devastated. Honestly, it hit the news and everything. You had girls crying in the streets. It was like pandemic. It was awful. So all the fans out there that are feeling the same way as those Take That fans when they split up, on the prospect.
Bryan, you're one of them. Let's not fart around the bush. You're one of those people.
Literally, I look forward for when this gets released, and I watch it religiously, and I absolutely adore it. I think it's the best live action Superman series to date. I'm a great fan of Smallville, but this is better. I'm a great fan of Lois and Clark with Dean Cain, but this is better. By far, and I don't mean that, I absolutely love it. So what's your parting words for all the fans out there that are going to be experiencing the next 3 episodes till the end?
That's all, folks.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Yeah, woo, that's it. Game over.
Charlie, play me out. Goodbye, Macaulay.
And then at the end they're gonna have Bugs Bunny come out. That's all, folks, and that's the end of Warner Brothers as we know it.
That's it.
Who knows?
Well, you know what? Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen. You could have like a multimillionaire like Elon Musk decide to fund the next season, but I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what?
Well,
it's been great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, come.
No, I was gonna say I hope people can take away from this show that a show that just has a lot of heart behind it, and even has a lot of things going against it, can still reach people and still be good. That when people believe in what they're doing, they can make something really nice happen. And I was so unbelievably lucky to be around so many people that made that happen with me. So I'm happy I got to be a small part in it. And I hope this show is a little like Freaks and Geeks. Like people go, why was it canceled so soon? And everyone has a great career from it. I think that's going to be the case. This group of people they were all too talented.
Definitely. Well, Alex, don't go anywhere. We'll say goodbye properly. But thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to be back next week with another excellent live stream, same time, same channel. So thank you so much. And look after yourself and keep super.